Okay, all right, we are recording. So, look, I sent you an idea a couple of weeks ago. It must have got lost in your email. That's all good, but yeah, I thought this was pretty kind of catchy, but also dark and heavy. So I'll just play it for you.
Okay.
It's just the same thing repeated over. It's just an
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. The first, like two occurrences are good, but after that, it is repetitive.
Of course, yeah. So that's just to get an
I can't
idea.
get any work done because she prohibits.
It's all good. I've got a cat too. She can be pretty annoying. We love our pets. At least you haven't got the snake crawling around you there. So
I actually do. Well, not on me though. I've got 3, 4, 5 over here and another 2 over here.
yeah. Well, they're just wandering free at the moment.
Well, no. Everybody's got an enclosure.
All right.
I can't have anything wander. I can't have a snake wandering loose in my house.
I know you told me about the one that got stuck in the air conditioning last time.
Tragic.
So mate, that's sad. So yeah, you got to be careful with them. I guess they're sneaky little dudes. That's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Look. Yeah. When I send an idea like that, that's not. It doesn't mean the whole thing has to go like that. Like it's just to put an idea across. So the thing I did like, I thought that was an appealing kind of a phrase. Now you want something that's kind of signature. I think that is recognizable. So to me, that means catchy. And that doesn't mean a melodic little pop tune catchy. Black Sabbath came up with a lot of catchy riffs. You know, so, it's just an idea anyway.
I'm just saying that the repetition that you're having, we could go 2 of those and then there should be something changed.
Okay, but you don't mind that idea.
I don't mind that. No.
Okay. Well,
I've heard some kind of ridiculous doom that I actually like just because it is so extreme, just murky.
Yeah. Sure. Look, well, that's the other thing. So I just made up a little list of things to talk about. So I've played you that. You wanted it to sound a bit scary. You sent it in your email. So that Sabbath thing that you're referring to was.
Yep.
And off you go. I mean, you can definitely do something based around that. You can essentially copy it, but make different notes. And I'm just literally making this up as I go along.
Yeah, the first one is preferable.
Yep, the one that I played you before.
The one you just played, not the one you just played, but the one just before it.
Okay, that was actually the Black Sabbath one.
Oh,
sorry. Which is why you liked it. Now, and it's a phrase you've got in your head, so you're familiar with it. So it's also about getting something stuck in there. And as I say, like what I did then was just completely made up. So it's not even really catchy. It's just a bunch of chords, And everything I'm doing is in that drop D. So everything you got to play because you got to change the tuning of your guitar to get it to get that low thing. So it's very limited. So essentially, you'll stick to the 2 bottom notes and just move around there. But yeah, essentially, look, I can copy something like that and just do a. and once again, just completely made up on the spot. So you come up with something that's a bit more, got some kind of appealing character about it, uh, which was going to be my other question, because you said that other thing was a little bit repetitive. Okay, and a hook line is
Yeah.
often very repetitive.
Yeah, I
So
remember there was a lot of pop songs in the 70s who just basically saying the same thing over and over again.
over and over again, yeah. And I
Yeah,
know
and
that's
it's like Meatloaf. I liked Meatloaf in the 70s, but there was the fact that anything he did with Jim Steinman
yeah,
was just the same lyric over and over and over again.
yeah, yeah. These guys get a thing that works for them and just go with it. That's what their audience loves. That's what they're going to write and produce.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing by what you're saying is that you would like. I'm picturing more of maybe a soundscape for you. So like just noise and just power.
Have I given you the tornado analogy?
No, I
Okay.
think you're just about to.
Yeah. So one of the things that I liked about Godzilla
Yeah,
is this thing I experienced when I got a phone call one night. It says Doppler radar shows a tornado heading for my house, and so I go outside and take a look. I just want to survey the situation before it gets there. What can I see? And it's torrential rain. I can't see the end of my driveway. So there could be a tornado in any direction nearby, and I'm not going to know. And likewise, Godzilla could be nearby, and I'm
yeah.
not going to know.
Mm,
All I can hear, I can hear the storm, the torrential rain, and just blocks away, I can hear the nearest of the tornado sirens. So I do have what like air raid sirens, right? What that
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like.
yeah. Yep.
So I mean, in Black Sabbath songs, they sometimes have air raid sirens, and so
Mm,
I've got that, which you can barely hear, and screaming.
right.
That's
Literal screaming.
literal people screaming.
Yes. Okay.
But I can't see the end of my driveway because of the rain.
Yep. Okay.
Imagine how terrified would you be?
Yeah. Absolutely. I wouldn't be sitting back relaxing having a cup of tea under those circumstances, to be honest.
So a month or so ago now, my wife and I were hiding in the bathroom.
So this is an actual experience for you. Like
Yeah,
you're using that as an analogy, I think, for what you would like to hear for this theme.
yeah. Is it? If I was going to be doing a Godzilla movie, I would have made it a. I would have been following that kind of thing. There's one scene in the original Godzilla where Godzilla boards this island. I think it's Odo Island, and he shows up during a hurricane,
Yeah.
and he's completely masked. And you can hear the thunder and the lightning and the terrible thing. You can hear the torrential damage. My wife and I are hiding in the bed in the
Mm,
bathroom, and we're listening to trees collapsing about the house.
that's frightening.
Yeah,
That is frightening. And you're waiting for one to crash into the house, I
fell over
suppose.
my motorcycle, fell over my Jeep, knocked over my motorcycle, shattered my wife's windshield on her
Yeah.
car. I had a big canopy tent that I parked my
Mm,
Jeep under so that I could take the doors and roof off and not worry about the rain. That had been there for 2 years, but now it's in a twisted mess on my roof.
right.
And I'm listening to all this, and there's tree everywhere, every street around us. There's tree branches, all big tree branches all over the place. I've got tree branches and roof damage on my roof, big ones. And fortunately,
Yeah.
nothing came through the roof, but just the noise, you know.
Yeah.
So another thing that gives me that same fear is imagine a marching army approaching, and it's getting louder and louder and like it's a rhythmic foot stomp,
Yeah,
right?
right. Okay.
But as it builds, it becomes more and more. As the steps appear to be coming closer, all those trudge, you start getting terrified. The same thing with a train.
Yep.
You can be right up to the track, and as the train gets louder and louder, you're gonna back the fuck away because
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is too big and it's too much and it's coming.
Okay, I'm definitely getting a vibe here. Look, I guess I almost got something like that with that thing that I just played you here,
Okay.
because that kind of fades in, so it sounds like it's moving towards you from a distance and getting bigger.
This last one where we hid in our bathroom, I stepped outside to survey, and it didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
All the sirens were going off, and I could hear all the sirens well, but there was no rain yet, and there was no hail, and all of that shit. So I mean, I'm just okay. Well, it's not so bad, but I could feel the barometric pressure change. And the one time I got to see a tornado clearly, I felt it before I saw it.
Right.
Because I could
I
feel
can't imagine.
the abrupt change in barometric pressure it was so distinct.
Yeah.
I was driving my car and felt this, and there's something here. I pulled over, got out, and looked around, and sure enough, saw a smooth funnel coming out of the clouds.
Yep.
But as I said, I felt it, and that's how I knew to look for it. But you where was I going with that? You can feel it coming, and as I was walking back to my house, when I go out to the driveway, I go to the end of the driveway, I'm walking back to the house, and I can feel it coming. I can feel the wind picking up. I can see things starting to go, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I probably need to move faster.
I need to get the hell out of here. Yeah, mate, I can't imagine. I'm in a I'm maybe not a sleepy little beach town, but it's a coastal town, and we don't. I mean, we get some strong winds and things, but obviously we don't get tornadoes and stuff like that. So I can't imagine what that's like. That's frightening. But anyway, look, you're using all that as an analogy for the type of vibe that you would like to have for your theme, and to me, it sounds more like the kind of a soundscape rather than a specific riff. Like by what you're describing, you want something that's just an absolute wall of power.
Yeah, and maybe I'm
scary.
too explicit with it. I made a compilation CD of all my favorite hard rock songs, and when I did, I realized all of them had this one thing in common. Every one of them. The drums. While I like to hear drums, I like drums doing interesting things. Like in Tom Sawyer, by Rush. The drum does interesting things.
Yeah. Yep.
Led Zeppelin, the drum is played as an instrument. It's not just a timekeeper. But in all of my favorite songs, nonetheless.
Yeah, that big thud. So like that's like the Godzilla stomp, which is something that I wanted
the Godzilla stomp that I was loving in all of those songs. And then every one of those songs has a kind of a grind that goes along with it. Yeah. Like Motorhead's Orgasmatron.
Right, yep.
Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with that song. Obviously, I'm familiar with Motorhead, but I don't think that's one I've heard.
Okay.
But I've got that recorded, so I'm going to remember that. I'll go and have a listen to that. I'm definitely getting more of a vision in my head from what you're saying now. So this is good to have this chat. So I'm hearing something that is based on that stomp. Like there's your starting point right there. It's just that bang, bang. There's your timing. There's your tempo.
Yep.
Bang, and then you build something off of that.
I quite like that.
Okay, but you didn't mind that idea. Okay.
Well, I quite liked what you just played a moment ago when we were talking about your voice fading. If that's original, I liked that a lot.
I just made that up on the spot. So yes, that's original. So you helped me write that just then.
And I'm glad you recorded that because that was groovy.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, that's there.
One last thing, and I know I've mentioned this before, that the Scorpions China White.
Yep, I've listened to that.
When I got that album in 1982, it kind of got me evicted from my apartment.
You cranked it up so loud.
Enough that I could see the windows shaking in their sills.
I've been there too. I know all about it. We were just talking with my mum the other night. It was reminding me of when I was a teenager and I was listening to something. I think it was David Bowie, actually. Listening to it really, really loud. And we had the neighbours were ringing the police and come around and because I had the music cranked up, you know. It's like, no, I'm not turning it down. I'm just getting off on it. So yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Well, that China White, there's an interim where there's no lyrics, and in that space where there's no lyrics, there's insanity.
Yeah,
it sounds like you've got the stomp, you've got the deep bass, and then you've also got higher pitch that sounds like some other kaiju is involved in the battle.
It's that type of thing. They've got quite high sounding chords in it. And there's a bit of whammy bar. They use whammy bar stuff and that, get feedback and that happening. Yeah, it's cool. But once again, still got that slow down stomp thing. And the thing I did notice about that is really the bass is really pumpy. Because that's actually that part that you, because I've got your email here, but the part that you wanted me to listen to at the beginning there it's all bass and just that guitar. Just I think it's something like that from memory. Just up nice and high, so it sounds like it's like a wall, but it's very, very sparse. There's none of that low stuff going on with that one. It's pretty high stuff. I guess we could come up with something that kind of mixes that type of thing in as well, you know. The other thing is like getting some guitar stuff in there, yeah, like some leads as a kind of just a wash in the background, not a lead
but
guitar
more, like fading in and out, and more. I don't know, rapid fire riffing. I don't know what the terms are.
Yeah.
Less melodic, more chaotic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah. Because another weakness I have, and the only time that I ever feel that I have a soul, is when I'm listening to blues guitar.
Sure. Love it.
But not for this.
Not for this. No, clearly not. No. No, the Ra theme's definitely got to be a powerhouse. I had another idea actually. So it's just one big long chord, and the same thing again. So you've got room to have all your noises. You spoke about screams, stomping, all of this sort of stuff, which we can put in there. But this thing just repeats. It's just a big ominous. And then it's just hanging. And then
that will. Yes.
That type of thing. And you can have that can come in there. You could start off with something like that, where it's just power chords, no rhythm, and then your timing comes in. You got that bump, stomp, 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 and then you get that build up, that thing coming towards you.
The legend of where they got the Godzilla roar was that they had a bass violin, and that they played it with a hacksaw.
What? Well, they succeeded in doing that without chopping the neck off.
I think later the less embellished legend was that they had a leather work glove
Yeah.
and that they dragged the work glove along the strings.
Right. Okay.
But the idea of playing a bass guitar with a bass violin with a hacksaw just sounded wonderful.
It sounds pretty rock and roll to me. Like, I don't know if it's a myth or if it actually happened, but like, let's just go with it's real that it actually happened because that's so cool.
That's
We'll
the
just
most metal thing I've ever heard.
mate, absolutely it is. That's just classic. If you've ever seen that movie Spinal Tap, that would have sat
Yep.
right then nicely.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Well, talking about that roar, so now that my sound's not very distorted, I've just done the best that I could. I've got a preamp running into my Focusrite box here, my digital interface, and it's just the best I can do at the moment. But look, there's a couple of things with that, and I played you a few roars. I think I sent some over, and
I don't remember hearing the roars.
I think they were just within. Yeah, there was one song which I used a couple of different roars and copied and pasted it in different spots. I think there was a couple of variations in there just to let you have a listen. So it was in one.
There's one as the movies got campier later on.
Yeah,
They started focusing more on this 2-syllable thing at the beginning. It was like that was the roar in the 60s, and the movie was campy.
Yeah.
But as the movies when the movies first began, there's kind of a weird kind of a tremble, and then but it's mostly just and it does have a little curl in the end there.
Yeah. Okay. So are you hearing, because you played me a few different ones and a couple of them were just kind of like, now that's not distorted enough, so it's not getting it across, but it's kind of was like that.
Yeah.
Which is just literally just stretching it. The other option is, and this one's really low, is using the whammy bar here and getting that. So you can get a really low one, or you can get what's getting closer to the idea that you hear.
Yeah, it should be just the lowest fucking growl you can do, with just a little whammy at the end to slightly distort the end of it.
Because you can go,
oh baby.
So something like that, really low.
Give me more of that.
And with this sound, like, it's limited, as I say, there's only a little bit of distortion on this, but as soon as you get like a Marshall stack and a distortion pedal through it and record that, it's going to be fat as fuck, you know? So, all right. Okay. Well, that's good. That
and I want to share one more bit of the personal experience thing with you, because I know these are kind of weird things for somebody to understand. Somebody wanted to sell me a Malaysian water monitor because they said it was
the lizards.
Yes.
Yep.
So, and it was the one that I wanted. I wanted a Malaysian water monitor, and so I go to these people's house. And they have a big old 4-foot by 4-foot cubic cage, and it's covered with a blanket. Why is it covered with a blanket? Well, he says because he thrashes whenever he sees people come in the living room.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, I'm already intrigued. And then when I raise the blanket up, I see this abomination of evil hissing at me. And he opens his mouth, and there's strings of venom running from the top jaw to the bottom jaw as he goes,
venom.
Yeah,
like actual venom, not just saliva.
Anticoagulant. Yeah, that wasn't known by science at the time.
Yeah,
but I figured it out as soon as he bit me because I bled like water.
You're joking. He bit you.
Well, he bit me. He got 2 teeth, just a glazing
Yeah.
he snapped, and I pulled my hand back,
Yeah.
and two of his teeth scraped my finger, but he didn't get the lock.
Didn't get a grip. Yep.
Right. So I'm pulling my hand back just in time to bounce my finger off his teeth as before he snapped his jaws closed. Because if he had closed his jaws, I wouldn't be able to express my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Really?
I bled like water for 2 days
Yep.
on it, and so I knew that's an anticoagulant. That's
Right.
that's a hemotoxin.
So it was the venom that caused you to bleed
Yeah.
uncontrollably. Yep.
And
Right.
science
Yeah.
didn't figure that out until like 20 years later.
Yeah.
You know, but and I wasn't writing to scientific journals or doing experiments or anything. I just knew that the thing bit me and I bled like a pig.
Yeah. So you put two and two together because obviously it wasn't that bad a bite.
Yeah,
It was just a scrape, but
just
it
two
got
teeth on a scratch, and I put it under a pressure bandage,
Yeah.
and it didn't matter.
Yep.
I unwrap it the next day, and it's still coming out like I just cut myself.
So did that eventually just fade, or did you have to go to the doctor and get like?
No, it took 2 days
some
before the
drug?
blood would. It took 2 days before the blood would start clotting.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
So yeah, that was kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But so he strings the saliva, and I'm able to look because this animal's basically hollow.
Yeah.
I'm able to look down his throat into his stomach. It's just the most primitive thing, and it was evil and power. And I mean, it not only has the claws of an eagle, and it has the ability to break your leg with a snap of its tail, and they are man-eaters in the wild.
Yeah.
They eat people. I mean,
You sure that wasn't? Sure, it wasn't a miniature Godzilla that you
exactly. So I just got a hold of them. I'm like, this is the most evil thing I've ever seen. I love it.
You didn't buy it. You did end up buying it, taking it home with you.
I bought it and took it home.
You did.
I did.
Oh,
I did. However, I did not. I don't have the wherewithal to keep one of those things now.
Mm.
I definitely didn't have it when I was in my 20s. So that is and it got loose, and the police shot it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, because it's just I described it right. It was
Yeah.
yeah.
So they weren't taking any chances. So how big is it? Like,
Well,
this
mine
size
was only approaching 4 feet. It was only a baby.
Okay.
But these things can get up to 7 to 9 feet.
Yeah.
With an adult weight of 70 to 140 pounds.
Wow.
So they're the second largest lizard next to the Komodo dragon.
That's the one I'm thinking of, the Komodo dragon. Okay.
Yeah,
So
practically the same thing. I can't tell the difference most of the time between a Komodo dragon and a Malaysian water monitor, except if you can see the details of the spots.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes you'll see clear coloration. If it's got clear coloration, then I can tell. Otherwise, the Komodos don't really have a pattern.
Yep.
At least not as adults. As adults, it fades to that gray brown kind of thing, and they don't have. Otherwise, they have a series of rosettes down their back that can be quite lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds almost as well. Kind of as frightening as, like, say, coming across a crocodile or something, because I mean,
I don't recommend them as pets, but they're awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely you don't want it as a pet if you've got a bunch of kids hanging around, but
yeah. And this thing, the capacity for mayhem, what it could do if it wanted to do something bad, what it could do in a second is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll just keep my little pussycat. Thank you very much. she'll do me for the moment. I won't be getting one of those guys anytime soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm hearing almost a maelstrom or something for this thing. This has been really good because it's cleared things up. I threw you a bunch of ideas that were all over the place.
Yeah.
just to try and get a handle on exactly where you're coming from. So the best thing that we could have done was to sit and have this chat, because it's now all pretty clear. I wonder if I had any other quick questions. So we got the stomp. I just played you a roar, which you did like.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we got that. That's all on the right track.
I didn't get how the whammy would affect it in the end. Maybe that's something that only happens in studio. I don't know.
Well,
or in
all
post.
I'm doing with that is just keeping it low the whole time, really. So bending it down and just leaving it there.
Yeah,
you can do a little thing at the end, like a wah type thing, or you can go the other way and drop it, which is probably not the right sound. That's more of a dive bombing type thing. So you want that.
Yeah.
Maybe give a little thing at the end. I don't know. Once again,
just curling up, going up a tiny bit toward the end.
Yeah, because that sounds like it's like a roar coming at you type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Well,
all you do is just mix a tornado with a Malaysian water monitor.
And we're good to go. That reminds me of your email, right? I've got your email here. And at the end of it, you said, so all I want you to do is combine Judas Priest with Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, the Scorpions, and Metallica to do an instrumental heavy metal horror movie soundtrack of roaring, stomping kaiju, I think that's how you pronounce it, in combat, like one long crazed guitar solo. Easy enough? And I'm thinking, no, not really, but I'll give it a go. We'll see what we can do. So yeah, look, I get the idea. Yeah, mate, I'll have a mess around with it. A lot of good information there, so that's great. And I'm so happy that I got all this recorded, because then I can refer back to it.
Yeah,
and remember what we spoke about and the ideas that I played to you.
Yeah, one last thing for practicality's sake is the way that I use these. The credits are usually about something like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So, and
because you did suggest a 45-second intro and an outro, so one could maybe be more of
the outro would be 45 seconds because it needs to run the credits. But remember when you played me just 3 notes that I really, really loved? If you just did those 3 notes, that could be a wonderful intro for something.
Okay. Sure. So this is what I played you just before that you liked during this conversation now you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay. It was one that you played. You played 3 notes, and you originally you said you did 2, and I'm like, oh, I like that. And then you did the same 2 with the 3rd one after that, and I still liked it.
Cool.
But those 2 or 3 notes, just those would be enough for an intro, like a splash page, a title page, and then we jump into it.
Right. Okay. And can I just say, mate, I'm happy to put things together for different shows. You might have a specific show where you want a specific piece of music written for effect. I'm happy to throw some ideas together and send them to you for that, if I know ahead of time what it is that you're trying to do.
I just happened across something for I wanted to do some political stuff.
Yeah, I love the political stuff, mate. That's what I'm enjoying of yours at the moment. That Demon Nazis video, I really, really liked it. My head's where you are at politically, I think, pretty much. And that video was great. It spelled out so much. And there was another one that was really good too. I can't remember the name of it, but the same sort of deal. And talking about Donald Trump and all that, it's just like, I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, I'm doing one this evening, or I'm trying to get one done this evening, and it's I don't have music for it.
Yeah,
or I might, because I found an old episode that used something that I think I stole from somebody else, and there was a little splash thing that I could use for the entrance. So I might do that.
Yeah,
but hit me with those 3 notes again, would you?
Well, I can't remember what they were because I literally just made them up on the spot, which is why it's good that we recorded it, because I can go back and have a listen. But I honestly, I don't know, but it was, I can't recall. but they're there. So
yeah,
I'll go back and have a look at those.
it was 3 relatively longer than what you just played.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
long slow.
boom,
Yeah.
just like that.
That type of thing.
Not quite. We'll play around with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll throw you a few ideas. I've got that recorded. So the one that you liked, you made it pretty clear that you liked it. So I've got that here. I can go back and have a look. The other, just quickly, the other idea. I don't know if you heard the song "Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath." I'm sure.
By the way, when you get that piece,
yeah,
can you clip that one little bit?
Sure.
And send it to me, because I could just use that one little bit for the video that I might have done tonight.
Really? Okay. How many hours away is that?
5.
5 hours. Okay.
Well, no, I've got a thing at 7, so I'm not going to be able to do it. No, it'll be late this evening. If I get it up at all, it's going to be several hours from now.
Okay. So because
you'll have time to go to sleep and wake up.
Right. Okay. Because I've got to go to work now. When I finish up with you, I'm heading off to work.
Okay. Yep.
Let
No
me go
worries.
back. Let me go back and have a look. I'll see if I can send you something, but it would be literally recorded on just here in my little studio, and not professionally done at the actual studio. This would just be on my home.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I liked what I heard. I could use it. If I was the one doing the recording, I would just look for that and take it.
Yeah. Right. So. Okay. Awesome. Great. That's good. Okay. No worries, mate. Well, I'll leave you to it. Leave this with me. Look, I'll try and see if I can get through those 3 chords, find them, and send them to you. And I'll do my best. We'll see how you go. But besides that, I'll get some ideas ready and I'll send them to you within the next week or so.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, it's not a problem, mate. I enjoy it. I love it. I live for this, so it's all good.
And I'm excited to hear what's coming.
Yep.
All right. Thank you much.
Thanks, Aaron. Good to talk to you again, mate.
You too.
All right. Catch up with you soon. Bye.